What is up, Breakthrough Success listeners? Marc and Birdie, founder of the 5-Day Podcast Launch Mini Course here. And customers, they're changing. We're all changing. And that's important for us to know because it's going to impact our expectations. Because now we have so many more expectations. We have the expectation of, people to email us within 24 hours. And our expectations as customers are just going to evolve. So as business owners, we need to figure out how do we fulfill customer expectations and go above and beyond to create that great experience. So our guest who joins us today, he is a CMO of Insightly and is responsible for Insightly's go-to marketing strategy and execution, focusing on businesses of all sizes. Prior to Insightly, our guest held CMO roles over at Actian, DataStax, and Desk, and held leadership roles at Oracle, Salesforce, and KPMG. Our guest who joins us is none other than Tony Kavanagh. Tony, welcome to the show.
Marc, thank you very much. What a great introduction. Appreciate it. How are you doing today?
Tony, I'm doing great, and even better knowing that we are back for another Breakthrough Success episode. And just the fact that we are all changing, I was definitely hinting at that a lot in my intro, but I feel like as business owners, we do have to keep up with how customers are changing. So what are some of the ways that we can see, well, what are our customers expecting? Because I feel like customers have like general expectations, like, a quick email response, but sometimes depending on the niche, it could be a little more specific.
Yeah, so absolutely. Like the things are changing all the time. That's where we live in a world of change, right? That is influenced significantly by a number of factors, none more insignificant than obviously the technology that we deal with on a daily basis. And interestingly enough, and when I look at it from a marketing perspective, the first thing that any marketing person worth their salt will do, Marc, when they're thinking about reaching out to customers, is define the right customer segment. Who are we actually talking to? Who are the right audience? And you constantly have to understand that audience, their needs, their wants, what their expectations are, how they want to be communicated to, or how they expect to be communicated to. So what's really, really interesting is that a lot of their expectations are influenced, as I referenced earlier, about technology and other factors that really shape how their expectations change over time. Over the past 5-10 years or so, customer expectations change significantly due to, as we talked about, technology, social, mobile. Everything is available at any point in time, 24 hours a day, right at your fingertips. And not only that, you couple that with the sea of options that people have around any product or service that they consume, and boy, you've got a highly competitive market out there. So you've got to be in tune with your customer. You've got to be in tune with what their expectations. You've got to be in tune with how they have changed. Now, if I step back and I reference back to my point about segmentation, in the business world, you have two distinct customer segments. You've got a B2B or a business-to-business customer, whereby businesses are selling to other businesses, and you've got businesses who sell directly to customers. So if you've got Apple are a good B2C example, Amazon are a very good B2B example, or B2C example, but Amazon also have a B2B component, so they deal directly with businesses. Salesforce, that we've all heard about, Salesforce.com, they have a predominantly B2B. But when you communicate, or each of those companies communicate to their respective segments, there are slight nuances with respect to how you communicate, what you communicate, and when you communicate, based on the expectations those customers have. So B2B and B2C have traditionally been very distinct. They are coming and converging together more so. So your traditional B2B set of expectations are becoming very heavily influenced by the B2C world. So now, when businesses are communicating to other people in businesses, they're going to have to think about more of an emotional communication rather than one that's very, buttoned up and business-minded. You've got to be appealing to the sense that people may actually can very easily jump to another customer or another vendor away from you, in the same way as a customer can do, say, if they're buying a mobile phone service or whatever as just a consumer themselves. So knowing your customer, knowing how their behaviors have changed is very, very key for any business as we move forward. And therefore, all the systems, all the processes that you engage or employ in your business needs to start to be able to adjust and flex towards what those your particular segment is needing.
And one of the things that I love that Tony said is you have to think about your customer segment, because it's one thing to change your business based on your customer expectations. It's another thing to just say, what are the specific expectations of my segment, and then changing based on your segment rather than creating this idea of what a general customer is like. When you get more specific and you get the emails back from your customers who are specifically in your niche, like in your industry, those types of customers, that's what allows you to make better decisions. Now, how do we then go from, okay, we know what our customer expectations are, to creating a better experience for the customers that goes above and beyond?
Yeah, super question. So this whole concept of the customer journey becomes very, very important. So in recent years, because the power of choice and the power of free movement from one supplier to another, or one vendor to another, sits squarely in the control of the consumer. Now the consumer controls the experience. Not too long ago, 3 to 5 years ago, a little bit longer perhaps, the business as it communicated to the respective segments basically dictated, what they were going to deliver to the customer at what point in time. But now, with the advent of technology, both social and mobile, smartphones, just a sea of options that are set available, and then the ability to also read their interactions and to deliver what they want, they're now creating their own definition of what their experience should be. So businesses now have to be much more responsive to that. And if you're not responsive to that, guess what? Your customers are going to go somewhere else, because it said that there's been research done on the Forrester, the big industry analysts, technology industry analysts in the world, the number 2 one in the world, which states that if you give a bad customer experience to somebody, and that can be something as simple as one interaction, 79% of them will show the propensity to go elsewhere without even leaving a thought behind. So you have this very high stakes battle to fight to make sure that you can retain customers. The good news is, if you do retain people in the right way or communicate to them in the right way, you will have a much higher propensity to retain them. The same research said that you're 9 times more likely to retain a customer if you do deliver an experience that they expect. So key thing here, Marc, is, we've got to be in tune. We've got to listen to what our customers are saying. We got to deliver what they need. We got to respond to them in the way they expect. And when you do all of that, the propensity to retain goes sky high. And not only for the next transaction, but for the lifetime of the customer.
And I love how you mentioned how one bad interaction can really create a change. And it may not even just be a bad interaction. Like, again, people change. That's been what Tony and I have both been emphasizing. Like, for instance, my family goes to a vacation spot every year. And now that, I'm out of college and we're going at a different time of year now for the first time, just because, of a change that happened with our schedules. Now, that just goes to show that your customers, they're people who they could have a similar type of change, and it's going to be those interactions that keep them constant within your business. It's going to be the difference maker, because there are other options out there. Like, you could think of, I know we're just going, I feel like the vacation is a good example. You go on if your version of vacation is like sand and beach and ocean, there are so many different places you could find that experience, but it's the one experience that you choose that, you go to that vacation destination. It could take one bad vacation or one bad interaction with somebody to really change the dynamic of that relationship.
Absolutely. And you know what? The vacation is a great use case. The more information that be it the hotel or the vacation provider or organizer can have about you, Marc, the better they'll be able to deliver an experience that you expect. So the key thing here for businesses is get as much information about your customers as possible. Every point of interaction needs to be recorded. You need to be able to build what I call this high definition view of your customer. You can't have any flaw. You can't have any pixelated view where any part of your customer is obscured in any way. It's got to be high definition so that at every turn I can respond to and I can anticipate what you're going to need as a customer, even better than being reactive to a complaint that I might have. That's high stakes. That's not going to wash anymore. You're going to lose customers if you don't have this high definition view. And there's the systems that we ourselves build, and we work with 25,000 plus customers on this, is we help our customers do exactly that, to build this high definition view right from the point of identifying them as a potential customer all the way through to being, a full-blown customer and beyond.
Now, I mean, again, with the vacation scenario, like when you go to the same hotel year after year, you get to know some of the people who are there, and knowing people who, you're paying for rent or living space, whatever, that helps you stay at that space longer. Now, you mentioned just now 25,000 customers, so it's definitely harder to know each of them personally by name, stuff like that. So the way you do that online is through funnels. And I'm wondering if you could share with us, how deep do you go with building a relationship with a funnel or with the current setup you're using?
Yeah. We've got 25,000 plus customers, companies with customers. We're relatively small. And you think about the bigger names. You got the Netflixes of the world, the Apples of the world, and they've got tens and hundreds of thousands, millions of customers. So they have this challenge just at scale. But online in the digital world, the great thing is, there's a lot of debate going on right now, Marc, around this is, how much do we want to expose ourselves to the online world? How much are we, willing to say, okay, take as much information as you want about me because you're going to be able to give me a better service in the long term. It's a fact. In the online digital world, we give off so many signals that the accumulation of which will build this, as I call it, very high definition of you as an individual, to the point where business can now, no matter whether you've got hundreds or thousands of customers, can really treat every customer like they're your only customer, even if you've got thousands of them. So you are a unique individual. I'm a unique individual. Every one of us is unique, and we give a unique signal set away, so that companies really can, if they focus on this as being a key initiative for them, and understand what they give up and the risk if they don't, can really offer a very, very highly tailored experience as a customer with this online digital footprint that they generate.
Yeah, and for people who may be thinking, as you expand, you reach this risk of, not losing the personal touch, but all these, Tony mentioned Netflix. I'll talk about YouTube. YouTube still gives that personal vibe because of an algorithm. So it's not like there's this, you have a human being, you have a person who is allocated to each user on YouTube, because YouTube can't employ that many people. But the algorithm basically says, if you searched for a social media marketing video, YouTube gives you more social media marketing videos. So it's examples like that. It's examples like, if you do join my 5-day podcast launch mini course, I'll say, thank you for joining me in this mini course. I'm not going to say thank you for joining my newsletter. It's a pleasure to have you. You make it more personalized, and it is possible to do that no matter how much you grow. It's just a matter of having all those systems in place. Yeah,
I'll give you an example of ourselves here at Insightly. So we have, as I said, 25,000 paying customers. We have over 1.5 million users. We have a freemium offering as well. We can monitor and see how people are actually using our product. So we can understand, relative health of the business by just looking at the usage. How many times have they used a particular feature? How many people are using the system? How recent did they log into that system? How many tasks have they created? What automated functions have they got in place? How sophisticated is their implementation? And if they take one particular action that says to us that is a combination of inputs that says, you know what, this business could benefit from an additional feature, we send them a message immediately to say, you know what, if you're not using this feature that you've got at your availability, you should do so because there's this X, Y, and Z benefit if you decide to go down that path. So it's not, it's people sometimes will think, Mark, oh my God, this is a very creepy thing. I don't want to move without people watching what I'm doing. You know, some people say Big Brother is watching. You know, we feel, and personally I feel, Big Brother's behind you. We're here to help. We're not here to devastate. We're here to help people, help businesses be successful. And really, because a lot of times, you know, businesses, particularly with software that we provide, it can get complicated. There's a lot of features in there, and they just can't possibly know everything. And you wouldn't expect them to. But boy, if we can help them based on what their interaction is and engagement within the application, we can help them do something better that helps them grow their business faster, employ more people. That's a win. And that's a win for everybody. And I think it's a great example of just how beneficial and on building an understanding of the high definition picture of a customer can be.
Tony, I definitely love that breakdown. And I do feel like you can create that personal touch no matter how big you get. It is just a matter of autoresponders, sequences, funnels, all those different things in place. And if you want to see it in action, if you want to see Tony's whole sequence and the whole personal touch in action, I do recommend you go and check his work, Insightly. That will be in the show notes. Are there any other places you want us to go or work you want us to point us to so we can follow you on your journey?
Yeah, you know, look, we've Insightly.com. It's a phenomenal resource. We got a great blog. We're doing some great things, Mark. We released a new product about September of last year. It's brand new to the market. It's got an incredible amount of interest generated already. And we're really, really excited where we're going with this. So any of the viewers, any of the listeners want to go in there and check us out, please do. It's all on our website. You get all the information you need there.
Well, Tony, all those links will be in the show notes for everyone who's interested. Once again, thank you so much for joining us on Breakthrough Success. It was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Pleasure being here, Mark. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.